you take 4 or 5 steps forward and then about 10 back. You'll regroup a little bit and take 4 or 5 forward and 20 back. And regroup a little bit, take about 10 forward and then 50 back. If you add this shit up, you are going backwards. But in your sick little mind, all you can see is the couple of steps you take forward. And whenever shit hits the fan, you go, I'll pull out of this one day, mother. But the day never comes. And you keep fooling yourself and telling yourself, you know, if I really wanted to, I could pull out of this tailspin I'm in. Now, how many of y'all do this too? When you first start using, it's like you up here. And it's like you on a roller coaster and you start coming down. And you do something that you said you would never do. And that shit mortifies you. And you get used to it. You come down a little further and you do something else you said you would never do. And that mortifies your ass. And you get used to that. And you come down some more. And you keep coming down and down and down and down. And it's so slow and subtle, you don't see it. But people around you who care about you, who really love you, say, what are you doing? And you go, nothing. What are you doing? Now, how many of y'all, this little problem, the drugs and the alcohol, when you first started using, was it your solution? Yeah. And in the beginning, did it work? I fucking say yeah. But that son of a bitch has boomeranged on your ass. And now it is a problem, and you don't have a solution for it. Now, alcoholics like me, rock bottom for somebody like me is not losing material things. It's not losing family. It's not losing freedom. Rock bottom for an alcoholic like me is when I'm miserable before I use, while I'm using, and when I get finished. My solution that used to work is not working anymore. And I don't have another one to take place. That is a scary place for a person like me. Now, how many of y'all come in here, you don't want no more of the old solution, but you don't have a new one to take its place? And if you don't have a new solution, you're going back to the old one, even though it's not working anymore. Now, what we're going to do today, we're going to try to get some people up to speed, especially some of y'all that have been here for a while. Now, when you come in here, a couple of things, okay? I'm a firm believer that people hear me because I'm loud. But a lot of y'all don't listen. And there's a big difference between hearing shit and listening to shit. Before I came in here, I heard everything people told me and listened to almost none of it. And I would look you in the eye the whole time you were talking to me, and after you finished, I would go, what did you say? Or I would tell you everything except what the hell you actually asked me. Now, when you hear something, it goes in this ear and goes right out of this one. When you actually listen, the shit will go up in here, it'll get trapped up here, and it'll never leave. Now, I want everybody in here to put pens down, and right now, I want you to shut your book. And I don't say that often. Now, we're going to go over some real basic stuff, and then we're going to get into the book and show you why we're saying this. Now, step one. Step one is a problem statement. Now, in step one, what they do is explain the problem to me. Now, everything you do in this program or don't do is going to hinge on how well you understand the problem. A person like me who understands the problem, once they do, guess what falls in their lap? A solution. And guess what they want to do? Take the program of action. Now, let's say you had a car that was broke down. The battery was bad. And you went out there and changed the damn windshield wipers. Could you go anywhere? No. But once you step back and you diagnose the problem, I got a bad battery. As soon as you understand the problem, bingo, a couple of things happen. The solution falls right in your lap, along with the plan of. Now, what would be the solution? What would be the plan of action? Get the goddamn battery. But everything hinges on you understanding the problem. Now, once you change the battery and you go somewhere, will the windshield wipers work? Yes. See what y'all keep doing, y'all come in here, y'all got a bad battery. And y'all keep changing fucking windshield wipers. And you never go anywhere. Now, understanding the problem is the foundation of this whole program. So what I really try to do is drill this in this granite you got up here called your head. And sometimes the bits go through, and sometimes they break. Because you have a thick noggin, and you know everything about anything. Now, the problem is twofold. One part of the problem centers in my body, that's physical, and one part centers in my mind. Now, how many of y'all, the very first time you've heard this, that you have this, a physical allergy? The very first time it suggested to me I had a physical allergy to alcohol, I said to myself, the hell I do. I'm drinking about a gallon of that shit a day. There's no way I could be allergic to it. Now, how many of y'all, when we suggest to you you have this allergy, you go, no, I can't. And you don't even know the indicator that tells you you got it or you don't. Now, what were you using? Favorite thing? What were you using? What were you using? Heroin. Look, I don't care if you're drinking it, smoking it, shooting it, shoving it up your rear end. If you can't do one, look, watch this shit. One. Something isn't normal with you. Now, how many of y'all have tried to prove that you're one of these normal people? If you've tried to prove you're normal, that proves you're not. Because normal people never try to prove they're normal. Normal people just go, fuck, I'm normal. So if you've tried to prove you're normal, you're not. Now, normal people, they don't try to control it and enjoy it. They do it automatically. Now, how many of y'all have tried to control it? How many of y'all have said, I think I'm using too much. Guess what normal people never fucking say? How many of y'all have tried to limit how many you use, when you use, who you use, all kinds of bullshit? That ain't normal. Now, the allergy that I have, the allergy that you have, it doesn't matter if you drink it, smoke it, shove it in your arm, or up your. If you can't do one, you have a damn problem. Now, I want you to use your favorite thing. If I put every drug known to mankind on that table, and alcohol is a drug. Alcohol is the oldest known drug on the face of this earth. Now, how many of y'all say, I don't drink, I couldn't possibly be alcoholic? Who doesn't drink? Who in here doesn't drink? Okay, what do? Harold, if I dropped your ass off on a deserted island, a lot of people would be happy. Now, if I dropped you off on a deserted island, and I told you, hey, I'm gonna be back in 6 months to get you, and I gave you 6 months worth of food and a case of taco vodka, would all the food be gone when I come got you? Yeah. Would every bottle with the seal still on it be in that case unopened? There's no fucking way. There's no way. Because if you were on that island by yourself, when you got irritable, restless, and discontented enough, you would start drinking that vodka. And when you ran out of that shit, you'd be looking for some fucking coconuts to drink. Now, how many of y'all say, well, I'm not alcoholic, I didn't drink? That's not how you determine it. How many of y'all say, well, I've never had a DWI. He's had 5. That's not how you do it. How many of y'all say, well, she's been divorced 6 times. I've only been divorced twice. I couldn't possibly be alcoholic like her. That's not how you do it. Now, how many of y'all, this physical allergy you got, the only way you can do anything about it is to first determine that you got the shit. Now, how many of y'all, every time you dump the first one of your favorite thing into your body, this is what happens. Your body sets off an allergy, and the allergy produces a physical craving for another one. Now, if you had a shit pile of your favorite thing, and you can do one, put that shit down, go about your business for 6 months and come back 6 months later and do a second one, and put that shit down and go about your business for another 4 or 5 months, come back and do a third one. If you can do that, you are in the wrong room. But if you could do that, guess what room you wouldn't be in? This one. So I think you have made it home. Now, how many of y'all, every time you put the first one in, you set this allergy of the body off, and it produces a craving in your body, and your body physically craves a second one. And when you dump the second one in, the craving now triples. Now, every time y'all dump the first one in, how many of y'all, your body produces 1 unit of craving? And that physical craving in your body makes you physically put the second one in. And when you dump the second one in, the craving doubles, which physically makes your body want the third one. Now the craving triples. Now your body is craving more than it did after the first one. So now you got to put the fourth one in, and the craving quadruples, and so forth and so on. You actually crave more after the 20th one as you did after. Now, what sets everything in motion? The first one. Now, the second one on is an act of the body. The first one you dump in you is an act of the mind. And this is what keeps kicking your ass. The mental obsession. Now, how many of y'all, wake up, how many of y'all in here, when you put this first one in, it's pretty much over with. You're going to go and go and go and go and go and go, and you end up on one of these right here. And as long as you are awake and conscious, will you stay on that spree? Now, how many of y'all, to get off of that spree, you got to run out, pass out, get locked up, or somebody has to stop you? But left to your own vices, if you were awake and had a shit pile of that stuff in front of you, would you stay on a spree? Now, how many of y'all have come up off of these bad sprees before and sang the Alcoholics National Anthem? You ever sang the Alcoholics National Anthem? You know what it is? I'll never do that shit again. Now, how many of y'all, you say that and you mean it over and over and over and over? Now, if you could come up off of spree and stay stopped, you would never have had to come here. Now, how many of y'all, when y'all come up off of these sprees and you start living in your own skin sober with no other solution, that shit's miserable, ain't it? And after a couple of hours, a day or a week or two, you start to get irritable. You start to get restless. You start to get discombobulated. This thing starts working on you then, and it says, hey man, I know how you can feel better. Now, when this obsession's telling you that, hey, I know how you can feel better. If you could do just one and feel better, would there be anything wrong with it? I don't think so. But you can't do one because of, and you can't do none because of. Now, if you can't do none because of the obsession, and you can't do just one because of the allergy, these two things render you powerless. Now, since we work a spiritual program here, okay, they use the word powerless. But what this actually means is you are. That's what that means. You know what you are? Yeah. You know what you are? You know what you are? Now, how many of y'all come in here and you are so diluted up here, not polluted, diluted. And you are so powerless and screwed, and somebody will say, hey, how you doing today? I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you doing? Man, life's great. And deep down within you, you are dying. You're dying. And you won't tell nobody. Now, how many of y'all, this has been your MO? You start, you go through this shit, you quit. You build up emotionally again, you start. You go through this shit, you quit. And the quitting and the starting, it gets shorter, shorter, and shorter, and shorter. And the problems keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And you come in here and you like a one-legged woman in an ass-kicking contest, you got so many problems. Now, how many of y'all keep piling problems on top of problems, on top of problems? You come up off of these sprees creating problems, and your solution is to use, you get over what you did down here, you go through this and you have more. Now you got to use again to get over the problems you just created, and it's a never-ending story. It's sort of like a guy who beats himself over the head with a hammer so he don't fucking feel his toe hurt. And that's what y'all do. And y'all come in here and you act like Mary Poppins, like ain't shit wrong. Or you come in here like y'all got y'all shit together, bebopping around here. I look at some of y'all and I go, they should win an Academy Award. Bebopping around here like ain't nothing wrong, like they got this shit together. Now, the mental obsession, the physical allergy, you combine these two things together, you are either or. Now, how many of y'all know there's nothing you can do about the allergy? If you got it, you got it. It never goes away. It actually gets worse the older I get. How many of y'all in here been drinking and drugging for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years? Does it keep getting worse? That's because the older you get, the worse the allergy gets. And if the allergy's getting worse, that means cravings are getting worse. And that means are getting worse. And that means the problems are getting worse. Now, can we do anything about the allergy? No. If you got it, you end the class. Now, can something be done about the obsession? Yes. Yes, thank God. That's correct. Now, I tried everything in the world to get this son of a bitch out of my head. I tried everything. I'm telling you everything, so I wouldn't not have to do that shit. That is the last shit I wanted to do. And when anybody suggested that to me, I went, hey, look, don't fucking waste my time. Yeah, that's what y'all laugh, but that's what most of y'all been saying. Now, I want you to check this out. If you get nothing else out of today, I want you to listen to this. When I had nothing left to try, that's when I said, hey, I'll try. And the last thing that I tried turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. So what that tells me is, I do not know what's good for me. That's what that tells me. Now, how many of y'all sitting in here, as long as we tell you to do something that you want to do, Woodlake is the best fucking place in the world. And you go, I'm in. But the second we start suggesting shit you do not want to do, you go, I want to go home. I don't like Woodlake. Now, I'm telling you, whether you find a solution or you stay stuck in the problem, you're fixing to do some shit you don't want to do. Now, let's say you actually do what that book says this time, which you have never done. Let's get that straight. Are you going to do some shit you don't want to do? If you go back out home and start using and doing the same shit, are you going to do shit you don't want to do? So either way, guess what you're fixing to do? Shit you don't want to do. You have to figure out which results do you want. Do you want the results the problem offers, or do you want the results the solution offers? And don't say nothing. I wouldn't believe you anyway. Now, how many of y'all come in here and the book and steps are going to ask you to do some shit and y'all go, I'm not going to do that. So if you're not going to do the solution, you're going to stay stuck in. Now, how many of y'all? Some of the results you've been getting from stuck in this problem, you keep losing shit. And the shit that you're losing is the shit that's most valuable to you. Your freedom, your family, your money, your dog, your hamster, your cat, your car, everything. You know, I was looking at one of them leaving this morning. And I said, whose shit is that? And his eyes saw it, so I went, God damn, there ain't no way I'd have come to treatment if I'd have still had that much shit. Now, how many of y'all keep losing stuff left and right? And you tell yourself, it ain't that bad. Now, this right here, this is the kicker. This is the crux of the problem. This is where the steps do all their work, between this ear and this ear. Now, how many of y'all come in here, and when you come up off one of those bad sprees, you swear up and down, I am done. And I'm telling you, when you say that, I promise you, you mean it. I promise you, you mean it. How many times have you said it? You? How many? How many? How many? How many? Now, when you say it, how many of y'all go, but this time, I mean business? Now, you know, us alcoholics are so smart, we screw ourselves over more than anybody else ever did. So when we mean business, we go tell everybody. See? Because if I go tell everybody, that means this time I actually have to do it. I mean, y'all have made that tragic blunder before. See, what you didn't put into the equation, because when that thing started working on you and said, hey, you feeling bad? I got something that'll make you feel better. And you go, yeah, but fuck, all these people know now. And the obsession goes, fuck all those people. I don't care what they gonna think, which is a lie. The obsession says, hey, you're feeling worse today than you did yesterday. Man, look, I got it. And you go, yeah, but damn, bro, I'm fixing to go back up 10 years if they find out. And the obsession goes, yeah, but they really won't do that. Now, how many, look, I even laugh at some of that shit today. How many of y'all are sitting in here right now and you're laughing at that? But then you go, hey, man, that obsession got me by the yang. The most important thing that you have on the face of this earth won't touch the obsession. I mean, y'all ever heard of Superman? You ain't it. Hey, they're not it. Now, Superman had one Achilles heel. What? Kryptonite. Guess what us alcoholics have? A kryptonite. And when it kicks in, the most powerful want or desire not to use falls by the wayside. What's the most important thing to you out here in the real world?
I want to be my family.
Okay. What about you? 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 Now, when this thing kicks in up here, does it overrule your family? That's pretty powerful to do that to you, huh? To you, huh? See, most of y'all, when y'all come in here, I have no doubt y'all get this part. Because if you alcoholic, you'll get this. But what most of y'all, it goes, whoop! It's that part. Now, when I'm sitting in a treatment facility and they hammering this almost every day, every fucking day. About the second or third day in, I'm going, what? No, I'm going, you know what? I'm fucked. Now I ain't got nothing but a couple pair of pants and a couple of shirts, and I could see just how I was. And I went, man, if something don't give here, I'm gonna keep putting. And they don't make enough. That's when the solution started to become real appealing to me. Look, I didn't care about it, money, a house, material shit. All I wanted was this son of a bitch out my head. But I got more than I ever bargained for. How many of y'all in here, man, y'all gotta be getting tired. Y'all gotta be. Well, see, the crazy shit is, you come in here and this thing tells you, yeah, go get you some help, man. Go get you some help. Rest up a little bit. And you get about 30, 40 days under your belt, and this thing goes, fuck, we ready to go now. And it'll tell you shit like this, hey, you don't need to do those steps. All you have to do is go to some meeting. Hey, you not like these other people you in here with. Say, how many of y'all, the obsession tells you everything? It tells you what job to take, what job not to take, what relationship to get in, not get in, which ones to work on, not work on, what car to buy, what dog to, it fucking tells you everything. Now tell me you ain't one powerless ass person. I don't know about y'all, but I had nothing to laugh about when I came in here. Nothing. And there wasn't a smile on this face for quite some time. Because once I saw this, anybody in treatment who wasn't interested in the solution, I got the hell away from them some bitches. I didn't want nothing to do with them. Because see, look, many of y'all in here, for years, you've been attracting idiots. Now, when somebody attracts nothing but idiots, it's because they are an idiot. If you show me an idiot, I will show you an idiot magnet. We attract other. Now, when I quit being an idiot, guess who didn't want nothing to do with me? Idiots. So in treatment, I didn't have to separate myself from them that hard because I was doing the right thing. And they didn't want nothing to do with it. And I went, fucking, that's great. Now, I watch y'all, whether y'all realize that or not. And I just watch some of y'all idiots, how other idiots flock to y'all. And the ones of y'all that are trying to do right, the other ones don't want nothing to do with y'all. And then, matter of fact, they start talking about y'all. Now, how long have you been attracting idiots? How long? You know why? Oh, I don't know who he's talking to. Look, this right here, as they tell you in the big book, this is the crux of the problem. Now, how many of y'all, every time that you come up with a solution, when these have started to become unbearable, I want you to think about this. Every time you come up with a solution, does it center around a human being? Yes. How many of y'all, when you say, I'm done, you try to get away from human beings? How many of y'all try to get in relationships? Sure. Robert M. Where you at, Robert? Well, God's good, ain't he, Robert? All right, back up here. How many of y'all, every time you come up with a solution, it always centers around another human being? Either you try to quit running around human beings, you try to get in relationships with human beings, you try to get out of relationships with human beings, you move away from human beings, you move closer to human beings, you try to work more with human beings. But every time you come up with a solution, if you think about it, it always centers around a human being. Well, my kids will make me stop. Yeah, they'll make you stop, but they can't fucking keep you from starting. Now, if you come up with any solution to solve this little problem here that centers around a human being, it's doomed to failure. It won't work. Now, let's say you do absolutely nothing we say. Nothing. As Bill said in the big book, for the first 4, 5, 6 months, the goose hung high. Can you go 3, 4, 5, 6 months? Yeah. Especially coming out of here with people watching your ass now. But the point in time will come when this thing gets through and tells you, hey, ain't nobody gonna find out. If they do, fuck them. I need some relief. I need some relief. Now, who can tell me in here what the steps actually do? Okay, now say what you said. Okay, now the psychic change is what we're looking for. But guess who produces that? No, God. So guess what the steps tap me into? Power. Because it's gonna take a power, a hell of a one, to get that thing out of your head. Now, when I came in here, all I wanted was that thing out of my damn head. And when I started to see that I knew absolutely nothing. That's when I became very open-minded. If they would have told me, hey man, if you go stand up on top of the treatment center like this for 28 days, it'll remove the obsession. You know what the hell I would have tried? But they didn't tell me that. They said, hey man, hey, are you ready to do some work? Because if you stay the same, powerless, you are. But if you take these steps, they're going to tap you into power. See, I didn't remove the obsession. When I started taking those steps, and the steps started to extract self out the way, once self was out the way, it's like I just flowed right into that power. And now all of a sudden, I don't think about using. Now, when that started to happen, I went, damn, man, I need to turn some other people on to this shit. You know, when I used to get some good dope, you know what I wanted to do? Yeah, fuck yeah. So that's why when I come up here, look, I promise you, I do this for one reason. I know where you heading if you don't do this. And I also know where you heading if you do. Now, trying to carry the message to help people, I got more than I ever bargained for. Somebody who could not stay out of trouble. And I used to say this shit all the time. You got some bad luck. How many of y'all know luck has nothing to do with absolutely nothing? How many of y'all watch football? College football. When it starts again this year, y'all watch the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They normally play the first game on NBC. At halftime of the game, when you normally go piss and smoke crack, watch the halftime show. They got this little green fucker. They call him a leprechaun. He runs up and down the sideline. That's luck. Luck ain't got nothing to do with nothing. How many of y'all, God has been trying to wake you up for quite some time? And he keeps dropping consequence after consequence after consequence on you. Going, hey, my boy, come on. Come on, bro. How many of y'all, those couple of 4 or 5 steps you keep taking forward, have you ever noticed when you do, you sort of doing the right thing? Huh? You ever notice that shit? That's God saying, man, fuck, I'm proud of you. Let me drop some good shit on you. And you start to think it's you doing it. And when you start to think it's you again, that's when you get dangerous again. And you think you're doing so great and managing well that you can manage just now. I just fucking helped you. I mean, come on. You don't hurt nobody. Now, obsession, allergy. If I put them together, what does it render me? Powerless. Now, if you know this, if you've been told this, don't blurt it out like you've been knowing it the whole time. Now, if I asked you today, do you think I am powerless over drugs and alcohol? What would you say?
You are?
Do you think I'm powerless over drugs and alcohol today?
Yeah.
Okay, you? You? Are you sure? Would you bet your house on it?
Yes.
Or your husband's house? I know. What do you think? I am? No, I said me. What do you say? What do you say? Now, if somebody takes the steps, like the book says, what's it tap them into? And once they tap into the power removes. So, if somebody like me is tapped into the power and doesn't have the obsession, guess what? I'm not anymore. Now, am I still alcoholic?
Yeah.
See, this is what makes me alcoholic. I'll always be alcoholic, but I'm not. See, the book, which most people fucking miss this, tells me I can be recovered. What that means is I don't have the obsession anymore. I have a choice today whether I use or I choose not to. You sitting where you're sitting do not have a choice. You're gonna use because
No, medicine. Sherry's out.
see, how many of y'all come in here and y'all try to make different things up why you're alcoholic or why you're not? What makes me alcoholic, plain and simple, is if I take this and combine it with this, that's what makes me. Now, did you just get that? Did you understand that? Did you? See, how many of y'all been in meetings before? Somebody got fucking 20 goddamn years sober and they go, my name's Jackass, I'm a recovering alcoholic. And I go, what the fuck are you recovering from? You've been coming here for 20 years and you still recovering? You missed some shit. And what you missed was all of it. The book tells me if I take the steps and tap into this power, I'm recovered. That's past tense. And where I have recovered is in the mind. Now, the mind is a marvelous mechanism. It can be your friend or it can eat you to smithereens. Because this thing will tell you, you got some shit, you ain't got it. And the shit that you really got, it'll tell you, you ain't got it. Now, how many of y'all have been deceiving yourself about certain facts about yourself for a long time? So, it was real important for me not to buy into my bullshit early on. So I would ask people that I knew were going to tell me the truth. Hey man, what do you think about this? And I just knew they were fixing to tell me some shit I didn't want to do or hear. See, how many of y'all come in here and y'all go, I'll do anything. Well, I can think of some shit you ain't willing to do. Now, do you have to be willing to do anything? No. You got to be willing to do what the steps say and follow suggestions. I want y'all to turn y'all's big book to page 24. The first paragraph down in that scriggly ass writing. Now, educated people call that, huh? I knew you'd know that. You know what those drunks call it? Drunk ass writing. Now, it says the fact is that most alcoholics, for reasons yet obscure, have lost the power of choice. Now, why have you lost the power of choice? Because of. Now, how many of y'all have ever been asked this shit since you've been here? And I just cringe when somebody asks y'all this question. What's your drug of choice? If you had a choice, would you keep putting that shit in you? No. I sort of prefer, hey man, what's your favorite shit? Because you don't have a choice. You've lost that. You're gonna use, no matter what, unless you tap into some. How many of y'all been trying this in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out? And the only thing you can say is, I'm sober. You've never really tapped into. Because if you had, you know what you would want? More and more. If you just start teetering with it, you ain't gonna keep doing this. How many of y'all ever got some bunk ass dope? Did you go, hey man, give me some more of that shit? Now, when you finally got the cream, Della cream, how many of y'all went? Man, I want some more of that shit. Give me some more of that. See, if you really tap into the power, you gonna go, hey, give me some more of that. And that's the ones of us that do 10, 11, and 12 daily. Not Mondays, Wednesdays, and when the fuck I want to. Daily. Now, how many of y'all come in here? The obsession got you by the damn yang yang. And you don't have a choice whether you're going to use or not. Let's keep reading. It says our so-called willpower becomes practically non-existent. We are unable at certain times. Look up here. When this thing got you by the yang yang, that's the certain time they're talking about. Now listen to what it says. We're unable at certain times to bring into our consciousness with sufficient force the memory and suffering and humiliation of even a week or a month ago. Now, how many of y'all have come up off a bad spree before? And the pain and humiliation was fresh. And that's when you say, I'll never do that again. Now, at that point, do you mean it? Because what can you bring into your consciousness? The pain. Now, a couple of days, an hour start going by, and that pain and suffering's fresh. Does the obsession start to come in? Yes. And does it push that shit out? Yes. And when all that's gone, that's when you repeat the act of the first one. Now, let's say I could keep that pain and that humiliation as fresh today as it was 20 years ago. Would I put one in? No. No, there's no fucking way.
You kept it?
If I kept that pain and suffering fresh.
Oh, fresh. I'm sorry.
How many of y'all, when the pain, the suffering, and the humiliation is unbearable, if you could stay like that for the rest of your life, would you use again?
No.
There's no way. Look, if I had a stove burning right here and two hot flames on it, if I put my left hand on it, what would it do? Now, when I do this, look, when I go, if I did, y'all need to get me to another facility. Now, when I put my hand on that hot flame and it burnt the shit out of me, what did it do? Huh? It restored me to sanity. Now, the pain, the suffering that ran me up in here almost 21 years ago is as fresh today as it was 21 years ago. Now, people ask me this all the time, especially people that used to use with me. They go, come on, man. Fuck, you never think about dope. And I go, man, I think about this shit every day. They went, I knew you did. And I go, but hold on a minute there. Hold on. I don't think about using. I think about what it would do to me. And it would make me like you again. And I say that to them, they go, oh, you motherfucker. Do I think about you? Do I think about using? No. Do I think about drugs and alcohol? Every day. And I think about losing my vet out there. I think about losing my wife, my kids. That's what I think about. That's what dope would do to me. And if somebody can bring that into their consciousness like that, they would never put one in. And if the obsession's not there, guess what they can bring into their consciousness with sufficient force like that? The pain, the humiliation, and the suffering. Now, how many of y'all, the longer you stay sober, further that humiliation and pain gets out there. And that's why you go back and use again. Now, how do I keep the pain and the memory fresh? How do I do that?
Every day.
By coming and working with newcomers and getting to see that look on their face. See, I know that look. And it's not a fun look. And every time I see that look, I go, oh, man, boy, I wish I could hope I can get through to this one, boy. And some of y'all, the look ain't there, and I go, well, I'm probably not going to get through to them, but I'm thinking, fuck them up. Their using's never going to be the same. Now, how does somebody like me tap into the power? Look, they have millions and billions of people who go to these things called churches and tap into some power like that. Does that work for some people? You better believe it. Did it work for you? Okay. Make you a bad person? No. You just got to come into power a little different. Now, I don't know this, but I have a real strong belief. When I get up to heaven and me and God's talking, he ain't going to go, but my boy, you follow that other damn book. I don't think he's going to say that. I think he's going to say, my boy, that dumbass's version of the bigger book worked too, didn't it? Do you really think God is prejudiced about how you tap into his power? I don't. Now, how many of y'all, when we start talking about this power and God, we lose you? Come on, be honest. Be honest for once. How many of y'all, we start to lose you a little bit? And look, you're no different than anybody that has ever come into the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. I sort of think if they changed anything, they ought to change this right here. Made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I misunderstood Him. Because every one of y'all that come in here misunderstanding. Otherwise, you wouldn't be even here. Now, how many of y'all, when we start talking about the steps and the spiritual awakening and a power greater than you go, oh man, I knew they were going to hit me with that shit sooner or later. I knew it. Look, I'm telling you, when I came in here, I had a hard time believing God won't have anything to do with me. Especially after what I had did to His other children. Now, I know none of y'all in here are like that. Now, some people who really knew this program, they said to me, hey, do yourself a favor and take this word right here and just set it to the side. Now, I had no problem doing that. I have been doing it for years. And they told me, just do this. Put you another O in there. And just do the next thing right. That's all you got to do. Just do good. Because guess what God's will for me is? Do good. Look, it starts in here, and it's so simple that most of y'all, it goes, whoop! Look, if you're supposed to be in here 5 minutes early, be 7. If you're supposed to get up and make your bed, get up and make your damn. Now, how many of y'all think some of the rules here are dumb? I do. You know who made them? You know why some of them are dumb? Because if you can follow little bitty dumb rules in here, your chances go up like this, that when you get out there, you're going to be able to follow laws. But if you can't follow little bitty dumb rules in here, what makes you think when you get out there, you're going to be able to follow laws? Now, how many of y'all, when y'all in here, as long as somebody's watching you, like me or a cat, you follow the rules? Well, but when you think ain't nobody watching you, how many of y'all, the real you starts to come out? If you do the right thing when somebody's watching, it's actually being dishonest. Did y'all know that? If you're going to do the right thing, you got to do it when people are watching and when they. Because look, you know who's always watching? That's right. Now, how does somebody like me tap into the power? All right, y'all wake up. We got about 15 more minutes to go. Stretch, make all them noises and shit. And let's get back up here. Come on. All right. How does somebody like me tap into the power? Yeah. The solution. What would be the solution? Okay. Step 2. They give me the solution. Now, how many of y'all, when you read step 2, it says, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves. Now, when you hear the term power greater than yourself, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? God. Okay. Now, step 2, nowhere in it does it say anything about our Jesus Christ. Now, it says a power. greater than. Now, people like me coming in here who are having a hard time with the word and term God. Some people who really knew this program, they talk about the method of substitution. And they talk about two things. They say, hey, put the fellowship in Alcoholics Anonymous as a power greater than you. Now, the fellowship, conservative effort today is over 3 million recovered alcoholics. You could probably triple that. But they keep it real conservative so none of the naysayers can fucking throw it in our face. Now, 3 million people who used to be like you, who have taken the steps and continue to take them, and they not like you anymore, is that a power greater than you?
Yeah.
I would think so. Because if you were standing right here, and we had 3 million people lined up, and each one of them passed you, said, hey, you got a tail. Hey, man, you got a tail. After about a fucking million of them some bitches telling you you got a tail, would you go? Now, the fellowship, is that a power greater than you? The program of AA, the steps that have changed these people, is that a power greater than you? Now, what they told me to do, take the God idea, set it to the side, and put these two things in. Now, today, the God idea, I don't struggle with. And it just blows my mind sometimes how somebody like me can have what I got today on some damn steps. Now, how many of y'all sitting here right now and y'all go, man, this is a bunch of fucking bullshit. This ain't gonna work for me. Well, guess what? It probably won't work for you. If you condemn it before you try it, it won't work. How many of y'all condemned dope before you tried it? How many of y'all went, hey, you know, I don't really fucking think this shit's gonna work. You didn't do that. Now, when you were holding dope in your hand the very first time, did you know what it could do? No, you didn't. You'd never done it. Now, did you believe? Did the belief become strong enough where you made a decision? You put the shit in you. Now, once you put it in you, you got results. Now, the second time you used, did you know or believe? No. You knew the second time. Now, none of y'all, I want you to listen to this. I want you to listen to this. I want you to listen to this. None of y'all in this room have ever taken those steps like that book has said. So guess what the hell you don't know? What that can do. Now, where you're sitting right now, do you have to know? No, you couldn't possibly know. Now, are you willing to just believe? Or do you believe it might help you? That's all you got to do is be willing to believe or believe. That's it. Now, put that pen down. Put that pen down. If somebody asked you, where's the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, what would you say? What would you say? Okay, in the book. What would you say? Okay, what would you say? That's about the best answer I've heard. Okay, where in the book? Because it's a big book.
Well, I know that. I would say,
Huh?
I would say in the steps.
Well, where are the steps?
In the book.
Where in the book?
58.
No. Where? No. Look, how many of y'all come in here? Y'all have no idea. Look, now you want to fucking look at the book after all these years. Now, look, y'all look up here. How many of y'all in here? Y'all have come in to treatment centers before. And what you do is you go to a lot of these. But you never do the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. How long have you been around the fellowship? Yeah. How many AAs are there? No. 5, 8, 2, 18. There are 2 AAs. There's the fellowship in AA and the program of AA. And you got to know the difference. You have to know where the fellowship is, and you got to know where the program is. Now, the fellowship is going to the meetings, and what the meetings do is support me. That's what the meetings do. Can they support me for 20 years? No. The fellowship is set up and designed to support a newcomer until we can get them through some steps and tap into some that supports them for 20 years. And the mistake most of y'all make is y'all go sit at a bunch of fucking meetings and y'all listen to these jackasses who know nothing about the program go, well, meeting makers make it. They don't. Look, I'm telling you guys and ladies, y'all hadn't been called that in a while, huh? I'm telling y'all, if you have this problem, look, if you have this problem and all you do is go sit at these meetings, you're gonna stay stuck in. The way a person like me taps into the power is by getting involved here and taking the damn steps like the first 103 pages of the big book say. That's the program of AA. That's where the directions for the steps are. And I've studied the book extensively. And after page 103, there is no more directions for the damn steps. Now, what the steps do is give me this little personality change as a result of me tapping into. Now, if I actually tap into the power, I got a message to bring back here and carry. A lot of people in this fellowship carry the damn instead of. Look, how many of y'all have been to a meeting before? Everybody in here, we require that. Now, how many of y'all believe everybody who says, my name's fucking jackass, I'm an alcoholic? How many of y'all believe everybody in an AA meeting is a real alcoholic? Who says yeah? Come on, have a little fucking courage. Who says yeah? Who says no? Who don't know? Don't raise your hand on this one. Who don't give a shit? Now, everybody in an AA meeting is not real alcoholic. Now, let's say Fred goes to a Super Bowl one night. He drinks 2 fucking beers. Yeah, 2. He hadn't drank in almost 5 years. He starts to drive home. He runs a stop sign, gets pulled over. Police smells beer on his breath. What they gonna give him? What they gonna tell him? Hey, go to 90 meetings in 90 days. So what the hell's Fred gonna do? He's going to 90 fucking meetings. Now Fred gets to the meeting and he likes the camaraderie, the friendship. So guess what Fred does after 90 days? He keeps coming back. Now, does Fred have to take the steps to stay sober?
No.
No, because he don't have or now, little Johnny's mama finds a half of a roach in his ashtray that his buddy left in it. And she tells him, if you don't go to some of those AA meetings, I'm gonna take your car away. What the hell you think little Johnny's gonna do? He's going to the meeting. He's gonna get to the meetings. He's gonna like the friendship, the camaraderie, and the girls. So what's little Johnny gonna do? Keep coming back. Now, does little Johnny have to do the steps to stay sober? No. Now, you take the real McCoy, the real alcoholic. I don't know shit about this. And I go, hey, my name's Kevin. Fuck, P.O. told me I got to get this paper signed. What do I do? And I know nothing about nothing. And I'm listening to Fred share, who knows nothing about nothing. But he sounds good. So after the meeting, I go up to Fred and I say, hey, Fred, my P.O. said I got to get a sponsor. Would you sponsor me? And Fred goes, I would fucking love to. Probably the first time anybody ever asked him. And I go, okay, well, what do I do? And Fred says, just keep coming back until the miracle happens. Because that's what he did. So I know nothing about this. So guess what I do? I keep going to the damn meetings, and this son of a bitch is coming at me hard and heavy. And after about a month or two, it gets through. And I start using it again. And you know what I say when I come up there? That fucking AA shit don't work. But I never did the AA shit. I just went to some damn. Now, how many of y'all have made that same mistake? I'm telling you, it's more to it than going to meetings. And it's more to go up in these meetings to hear your self-talk. Now, where are the directions for the steps? In the first 103 pages of the book. Look, how many of y'all get this son of a bitch? And you have no idea what you got in your hand. This is actually a textbook for the steps. And textbooks are meant to be studied. Now, this is the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. Right here. The first 103 pages of the book. You know what this is? Huh? No, it's fucking crack. That's what this is. It's crack. Now, is it good crack? Yeah. How many of y'all get this son bitch and y'all go, I'm gonna read some stories in the bag? And that's where your nose stays back here. You never get into the meat of the program. Now, the reason they put these stories in the back is because when this first started, there were no to go to. So they put meetings in print. That was the purpose of this story. Now, we don't have that problem today. We have a lot of meetings to go to. But the program of Alcoholics Anonymous is right there. Now, would you rather do this and change your life around or keep doing your program? Now, which program would you rather work? Yours or this one? What about you? You?
Mine never worked,
Yeah, but I didn't ask you that.
so that's that.
What about you? You? Yeah. Well, that's what y'all say. Out your mouth. Now, the only way, look, if y'all get nothing else out the next 2 hours while we're in here, if y'all get nothing out the next 5 or 10 minutes, I want you to listen to this. There are 2 programs for people like me, mine and this one. And I can't do both of them at the same time. I'm going to do one or the other. And what this program does is separate me from mine. And what mine does is separate me from
The other.
this one. Now, you got a choice to make. And the choice is, which program are you going to work? And if you choose to do yours, shut the hell up. Get ready for the result. Don't whine and cry about it. Shut the hell up. And say, well, that's what I chose. Or you got to do this one. And I'm telling you, if you think you got any other choices to make, you've missed the boat again. Because alcoholics like me who come into treatment have 2 choices. My program or this one. And I didn't like either fucking one of them. Now, how many of y'all know what your program gets you? Is that what you want to keep getting? How many of y'all know what this one will get you? Do not raise your hand, because you don't know. I'm telling you, this one will blow your doors off. And I'm not talking about material shit. I'm talking between this here and this here. And won't you fucking do something yet? Right. Yeah, that's why we had to come get you up out of bed, huh? Look, I guarantee they ain't never had to get me out of bed to smoke crack. I promise you. Now, we're gonna close up with this, okay? How many of y'all in here? Y'all are contributing to the solution or the problem? Don't answer that. But I'm telling you, God has a way of getting you out of here if you mess with his other children trying to get to him. I promise you he does. All right. Since this is the 90s, we're going to let the guys go first. Y'all get up, listen to me. Y'all get up and go out of that door. Go smoke or wherever y'all go. Go.